Hey guys, so today, even though I said I was gonna clean up my truck, well, something else came up. So we're back on this 2002 Chrysler Town & Country Limited. As you can see, I don't know how well you can see that. See all the white powder all over the place? And the white powder down there. Well, I had to use my fire extinguisher today because it caught on fire, and it's pretty bad too. So hopefully this damn thing is still under warranty from the junkyard, so that way tomorrow, since today's Sunday, I can go replace it. But yeah, now that that's done, well, pulled out at least, now I can clean up the mess that is the back of my truck. Sorry it's not super entertaining today. Found that the intake manifold, the gasket's bad, so it's leaking right down onto the starter, and that's what caused it to have its issue. So that's what we're doing today. I already got the top part of the intake off. Of course, this is the bottom. You got these little bastards that sit down in here. You gotta be careful, because when you pull this off with these, they can fall down into the intake, and if that happens, well, you're in trouble. So this is as far as we got so far. As you can see, don't know how well you can see, but right down here, that's the issue, and the starter is right behind that mount, so it's dripping right down onto it. So nothing real fun or fancy today, just getting this done. So in order to get this off, your coil pack sits here on top of a plate. Your power steering, well, you probably couldn't have seen that, but these two pegs and these two holes back here, that's where the coil pack sits. And then your power steering fluid reservoir sits over top, bolted onto the intake manifold, the upper intake manifold. And you got a bunch of random stuff that you got connected to it, and of course, you know, you got to take off the air cleaner hose. I took the throttle body off as one unit with the upper intake, for the simple fact of I don't feel like replacing that gasket. But yeah, so now we just got to pull all the injector harness off, get it up out of the way, disconnect the fuel rail after relieving the pressure. So you got to unscrew this cap. Now mind you, this is on an 02 Town & Country with a 3.8 liter V6, and it's all-wheel drive. So now we got to figure out something to stick under here and relieve that fuel pressure, so that way we can disconnect the fuel rail and get it up out of the way. And then if you look down in there, of course you disconnect the fuel rail by taking off these 4 bolts. And then if you look down in there, I don't know how well y'all can see that, those bolts, that bolt down in there, and then there's another one. Anyways, There's 2 more. You gotta pull those off, and then you can pull the intake manifold off. Quick, easy. I like to say it takes about 3 hours, just in case you run into any hiccups, but it really only takes about 2.5 hours. So, if you ever plan on doing this on something like this, well, plan for that amount of time. Mainly all you're going to need is an 8mm, a 10mm. Now mind you, this is socket and wrench. And then, of course, you need a 7/16 to get the battery off, or the battery cable off. And then, I believe those are also a 10. Yeah, so yeah, 10, 8mm wrench and socket. Extensions are nice. Deep well sockets are nice. Just a regular pair of pliers and a flathead. It's really all you need to do this. And just be real careful when you're pulling these connectors and whatnot off, because of course the heat from the engine is going to make the plastic brittle. Hey guys, we're back. Still working on the van, replacing the intake gaskets. So this is the old one. This is the side that we were having issues with. And as you can see, the rubber that's supposed to be around that, there is none. It's just paint. So we got the old one off. There is 2 set screws, one on each end. It's a 10mm. So one on each end that you got to take off. And when you're scraping all the old crap off of the heads, if you get some shop towels and stick down in there, because that's the valley, so that's where you got all your lifters and stuff. So you don't want all that debris getting down in there. No, I did not take the intake completely out of the way because of that guy right there. I couldn't get it off by hand, and I didn't want to break it, so that's how she sits for right now, which is fine. She's out of the way enough that we can do what we need to do. So now we can get this out of the way and install our new one. See, these are the mounting points for those 2 10mm bolts. That's the bottom side of it. Now, I do want to give you guys a word of caution, because pulling the old one off, I ended up cutting my finger pretty good. These are just tin. I mean, they're just tin. So be careful when you do this, because they will cut you. I still got to clean off the surfaces on the intake manifold, then I can put it back together. So,
like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.
Alrighty guys, we got her done. Just waiting for the radiator to finish burping once she gets up to coolant, or once she gets up to temperature. But we got her done. No more leaking. Looks like we're good. Thanks for watching, guys.